Hello, my Legion of Art Nerds, and welcome to the next sketch request video where I get to draw your request. Woo, yeah, alright. So I thought this was a cool request. It's super cute and simple, and the game is absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. When I first came across this game, I didn't really know what it was. But if there was one thing that struck me about it, it was definitely the art style. And just the artistry in general about it. It's so beautiful. It's literally like walking in a dream, I guess. Or like playing a game that is like a painting almost, while still maintaining its simplicity. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. The use of colors and everything too. But another thing that struck me about this game was the music, the soundtrack. I don't really talk about it much on YouTube, considering I'm mainly an art channel, but I'm actually a huge music nerd. I play violin, and I was trained classically for a couple years, and I can speak music fairly well, and so whenever I come across a soundtrack with great musicality and great music composition and etc., I really cling to it. And I actually came across, just through the suggestion list on Spotify, the song called Green Path from this game. And I didn't know what Hollow Knight was at the time, and I just freaking fell in love with it. Because it's just so beautiful of a soundtrack, and then that led me off to the rest of the soundtrack, and just the correlation of the art design of this game with the music is just, they complement each other so well. Like you could tell a lot of the thought was meant to link up. You know what I mean? It's not just putting random pretty songs to like a game that's designed. It's almost like the music and the art is cohesive as one. Something that's really, really like about Hollow Knight, especially one that understands both art and musicality, and has worked on several indie games before. So yeah, I totally love that about Hollow Knight for sure. What's the next one again? Oh yeah. Chara! Ah, yes, of course! Of course, drawing Chara in a good way. I know I've drawn Chara to be like a evil version of Chara in the past, and that was way before any like digging or theories or whatever came out of Chara, or at least ones not that I knew of at the time. And for a while, I always interpreted Chara as evil, and I won't deny that, you know. But I think I've finally come around. I don't blame people that choose to interpret Chara as evil, but like, when I saw the theory video about the truth about Chara, and I talk about this a little bit in the description of my Genocide piece, it is a really cool interpretation, and honestly, if somebody told me to make a counter argument against it, to be like, oh, well, what's your argument backing up that Chara is evil? I mean, I could come up with one, but it would be so weak, you know, like in comparison, like there's no way, you know what I mean? Like, I would not be able to come up with an argument to counter that Chara is good or evil or whatever the heck, you know, which really just shows the strength in the theory, even if there are flaws in it, you know. It's and so yeah, I kind of agree with it, and but just as how a lot of the game of Undertale is open to interpretation or very vague in a lot of descriptions, and it kind of like, the plot holes give you kind of information to kind of piece it together, but it never, anything's like, oh, there's a lot of things in Undertale that aren't exactly clarified, and I'm not saying that as a bad way. You know, if anything, I like that about the game, because it leaves it open for not just your interpretation, but like, it allows your imagination to go wild and construct it in your favor to how you enjoy the game, and then it just is a different and unique experience for everybody. You know, and I'm just talking about Undertale in general, not so much Chara specifically. And then of course, because of how it's written, with this very clever way of leaving things open without them being like failures of writing, without it being bad writing, but instead it's good writing, it makes you think. And I always really appreciate a game or a story or something like that that gives you just enough information to make you think. So you get really, really invested in the story, and I think that's one of the reasons why Undertale is so huge, you know? And Chara is definitely one of those areas of the game. So like, I when it comes to Chara or people viewing them either good or bad or whatever, I understand both sides and I respect both sides. I personally think that Chara is good. But that's just me. But again, I don't like blame people that see them as like bad either. It's just so easy to interpret either way, and it's fun actually. Like, it's fun to play a game through of the game and see them as either or, you know, which is very interesting because then you're like plucking two entirely different perspectives to a single character and seeing a game that is literally the same. Like, say if you do everything the same but just interpret Chara's intention and feelings differently, it makes a completely new experience despite everything being the same. So Chara is such a multi-layered debate and idea that it's just oh my goodness, I don't know, it's really interesting, Chara in particular, because it's so open to interpretation and there's so much information backing up both sides, but especially the side of Chara being good, at least in my opinion. And when it comes to my Genocide piece, which I'll link at the end of this video, I also intentionally made it up for interpretation. I didn't want my piece specifically to go in one direction, you know? So, and again, I talk more about that in the description of the video. Yeah, you can't please everybody, but this is my feeble attempt. The Genocide piece is my feeble attempt to try and please everybody. but I know somebody won't read the description or understand or get the hints of both sides in the piece, but that's okay, whatever. But anyways, I have rambled enough about Chara and how interesting of a topic Chara can be, and can really raise a lot of interesting points. Because my God, like, for a character to have such an influence on people's views, and come up with such like interesting debates. I'm not talking about fighting, you know, I'm not talking about arguing. I mean like a really interesting, mature debate, you know, like if you're the type of person to be mature about it. It is really cool to see how a character is so influential just because of how open they are to interpretation and vague thought with fact backing both sides. Like if you really think about it from an analytical standpoint, it's really cool. But yeah, alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys have any requests, please feel free to put them down in the comments below, and we'll see if I get to them. I will see you guys on Saturday with a Speedpaint video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye!